Yeah.
You can call me.
What is up, Rush Nation, Giants Nation? Joker Rush here for another edition of New York Giants Rush post-draft. Tonight, there will be no King Rush. He's decided that he wanted to take a little vacation. Doing that 4-hour draft show was a little too much for him, so he needed a little bit of a break. Nah, just kidding. So tonight, I got Nails with me. We got Chris with me tonight. We're going to talk draft reaction. We're going to do love hate. We're going to talk about UDFAs. We're going to talk about some free agent signings maybe that we think could happen here in the next couple of days. We will talk a little OBJ because what is a Rush show without talking some Odell Beckham? So without further ado, let's bring in Nails. Chris.
Hey, what's up, Sean? Joker.
What's going on, Chris? How we doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How's everybody else out there? Hope everybody's doing great.
Yeah. How you feeling, man? We're going to get into a lot tonight, but just initial reaction. How you feeling after the draft?
Wow, man. The vibe seems so positive with the picks, with the way the draft played out. I mean, we'll get into it with Arvell Reese. Just the way everything kind of lined up. Yeah, I know there might have been a little shock at that, the second number one, and we'll discuss that. But looking at it as a whole and really soaking in that pick at that first rounder. I mean, listen, we know what direction this team is going, and we know what Harbaugh likes, which is the trenches and building a nasty type of team.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. We definitely got bigger. Like this team, and I'm happy, man, because I was tired of the small getting pushed around. Like I want big, I want physical, like I want that. And man, it reminds me of like teams of old, like old Giant teams where guys are huge and athletic. Like there was no doubt. If anybody had any like doubt, Harbaugh put that to rest. This is his team. This was his draft. He was in charge, and I'm glad he is because I like what they did. I know some of Giants Twitter was a little upset about what they gave up to draft Fields, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Chris, what's up, my man? Peace. Welcome. Yeah, we gave Craig the night off.
We're juggling. You know what, Craig? Craig. See, I called you Craig. Sorry about that.
Yeah, see, there you go. I'll take it as a compliment.
You know what, Sean? This reminds me of the Ravens. I feel, and I've always said for years, why can't the Giants come with that nastiness like the Ravens and Steelers do? Why can't we be like them? But now we're seeing this team, the way it's being constructed. You get the feel that this is going to be like that Baltimore Ravens type of feel. It's going to be that type of aura around this team. Smash mouth, hard-hitting nastiness, angry. It's what we want.
Absolutely. Like everything that was talked about was all you heard physical, a dog. Like we've been saying that for years, right? We need guys that are dogs. We need guys that are physical. We need guys that are tough. So yeah, man, I'm excited. So before we talk about the draft and do all that, let's get into a little love hate, man. Cue it up.
Are you sure about queuing it up? Where is the love hate on this? I gotta find it, man. All right, let's just scroll. We're just gonna keep scrolling. Oh, we got a beautiful young lady in the pool. I don't think we're using that one right now. No. Oh my God, Craig! There's like 150 clips on here. That's what we don't even use.
Oh man, there we go. We had all kinds of issues on draft night. Oh, while you're looking for that,
I got it. Here we go. All right,
got it. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
All right, so Chris, we'll get into this, and then we'll talk. Make sure we talk about draft night, the fan appreciation night as well. But let's start with let's hear one thing you loved about the Giants draft, one thing you hated or maybe didn't like as much about. I know hate's a strong word, so if you don't want to use hate, one thing you loved about the draft, one thing you either hated or maybe didn't like as much.
How about surprising? How about surprising?
Sure. Okay. We'll go with that.
I'll say love and surprised. Hey, one thing I loved about the draft is just that you see the direction the Giants want to go to, and they took the best guy on the board that was there, which I believe was Arvell Reese at that second at that pick. And surprised, I think we were all surprised maybe with Manoa at the tackle position / guard at that at pick 10. But, especially I think we were always thinking if they were going to go guard or offensive line. We were thinking the Penn State lineman, right? So I
Yeah.
think Manoa, especially with the back issue, but once again, the medical personnel from Miami, the trainers also with the
Yeah,
Giants. So I
it's
think we had some
right.
intel there. So
Absolutely.
I would say surprised, but I would
Okay.
say, but pleasantly surprised at this point after, soaking in Manoa a little bit more and what he's
Okay.
about. Yeah. How
Let
about
me
you?
ask this: when you heard the Reese pick, did you think they were going to move him to inside linebacker, or did you think they were going to keep him at edge when you saw that he was picked initially?
I thought they would maybe keep him at edge. That was off the top of my head. But I think once you start thinking about it, he's compared to Styles. I believe he's more stronger at the point of attack.
Yep.
He's more aggressive in terms of his tenacity. Maybe a little more angry. And I think he's built more like a middle linebacker than probably Styles would. So,
Yep.
from what you heard from Harbaugh, it's going to be positionless, depending on scheme,
Yes.
schematics, how they want a game plan. I think we're going to see him all over, and that's what we wanted to see from Carter last year. Move him, confuse him, and put him everywhere.
I know. I agree. Like, I think they're going to use him as a weapon. We just saw that the Seahawks won a Super Bowl using Nick Emmanwari as a weapon all over the field, doing all those things. Reese is positionless, and you can use him everywhere. And just think for a minute. Imagine you got Carter on one edge, Burns on another edge, and you got Arvell Reese coming up the middle. Where's that quarterback going to go? Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a scary proposition. So I know we're not forgetting about Tibbs. Tibbs is going to be on there. He's there. They said there was no talk that came out. They were not looking to trade him at the draft. There was no conversations that happened prior. So it'll be interesting to see. So I think it's good. So as far as me, I like your choice. I like what you went with. So I'm going to go with, I love kind of like what you said. I love that they went with BPA. Like, I love that. They went with their board, who they thought was the best player. But I also love the pick of Jack Kelly in the 6th round. And I know we're going to talk a little bit later about him, but just getting guys like that in the later rounds, and Colton Hood in the 2nd round, who was in the green room on night 1, and he dropped down to round 2 and they got him. Like, that's big. And our linebacker room now, going back to Arvell Reese, is huge. It reminds me of, listen, they're not there. I'm not comparing them to that group, but I haven't felt this excited about a linebacker room since those teams of the early 90s. That's how long it's been, right?
Yeah.
So now what I hated, and listen, Giants Twitter, Giants Nation, we love you guys, but sometimes you can be a little annoying. So the thing that I hated the fact that there was a group of people that complained on what we gave up to pick Malachi Fields, who, by the way, Miami was going to take. So we jumped them to get that pick. We gave up a 4th rounder. We're acting like we gave up like some 2nd round or a 1st rounder to jump up. So that's the one thing I hate, is that we just couldn't be positive for the whole draft.
Yeah. And we always hear this, Sean. If you have conviction about a player and you believe in a player, go get him, right? That's what we always hear. Go get him. And obviously they felt that way about Fields. So no harm there.
Right. And it shows, like, again, another guy, like, how many times have we said, and fans have said, we need a Plaxico type, right? Well, Malachi Fields is a Plaxico type. Like, that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
So I like it. He's a great run blocker, which is, again, how many times have we talked about that this team's going to be run first, right?
And that's what Harbaugh wants. Those receivers got to block.
Look at who they drafted with the linemen. Look at Fields. He's a great blocker, and he's faster than people realize. Like, his game speed is equivalent to a 4.4.
Right.
So, and his hands, he dropped 1 pass.
Yeah.
And people forget he came for Virginia, and I think he put up better numbers at Virginia than he did at Notre Dame, because they had 2 top backs, 2 first-round draft picks.
Yeah. Their scheme, right, Sean? I mean, you follow college more than me, was based around the 2 running backs more so than the passing game.
How much you think he was going to get? But even with the targets he got, he dropped 1 ball. We need sure-handed receivers, right? So I think he's going to for that number 2 position. Whether or not he gets it, I don't know. But that's our love-hate there. So, and guys, not to forget, and just that reminder for those that are in here, get your questions up, because we will hit them on one last drive or one final. I always forget if it's last or final. Man, oh man, I'm getting old.
It's last.
Is it last? One last drive.
Last.
Get your question for one last drive. We'll attack those later on. So let's talk the draft picks, right? So we touched on Reese. We touched on, tell me tell me what you think is the draft overall, and you can talk about specific players and specific rounds, but give me your overall impression of how you felt they did with just the draft picks.
It seems like the constant with the draft picks, and you see the reaction of these players and how they even spoke to coach. I mean, you've heard it before with coach speak, or not coach speak, but players speak with coaches. But you get the feeling these guys love football, right? And that's what Harbaugh wants. He wants guys that want to come and play and love the game. And you really got firsthand with Mauanoa when he was on camera, and he was talking about Jackson Dart. You know, it seems like the Samoan football players, they live and die with their team, with their play. They are just a different breed of the type of people they are and how they play. They are unbelievable. The players out of Samoa, they just they will give their life. For their
Give me a Samoan
teammate.
lineman any day of the week. Any day of the week.
Amazing.
Not to mention, he was talking a little trash to Micah Parsons on their draft show when he interviewed with Parsons and Neighbors. So I love to see it. Didn't back down from that. So I thought that listen, I was worried they might take him at 5. I like him at pick 10. I didn't like him at pick 5, but I like him at pick 10. They moved him to guard. I thought that was the better spot for him. I was worried they might try to make him into a tackle right away. They already plugged him in as our starting guard. Guy's a road grader,
right?
Absolute road grader. Imagine you got him pulling, Ricard out there pulling, and Cam Scatterable, who's also listed as running back 1 on the depth chart, which I found was very interesting. So imagine you got Maui leading the way.
You know what I like
Ricard.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I'm just saying, imagine those 3 coming.
No, I was going to say, Sean. Yeah, absolutely. And back of Mauanoa. But what I like is, there hasn't been any dancing around the questions. Like you just said it. Mauanoa is going right to guard. I mean, there's that's where he's going. That's what we've heard from the Giants. And we're all tired of the experiments, right? We don't want any experiments. Figure out where you're going to play him and get him, good at his craft. And it seems like guard is going to be a great spot for him.
Absolutely. And he was ready to do it. And they said the same thing with Reese. They're moving the inside linebacker. There's no ambiguity with what Harbaugh is doing. JC Davis, they talked about he's going to be a swing guard, swing tackle. So everybody knows where their role is, where their job is. And you know what that's going to do, Chris? That's going to make players better. They're going to play faster, smarter. They're just because they're not overthinking. They're not worried about where they are. Like it's such a refreshing change from there. So for me,
absolutely. And
go ahead.
No. Finish. My bad.
I would say just for me, like one of the picks that I was extremely excited about Reese. And you remember a couple weeks ago, and I think there was on 2 shows here, I brought it when Dunleavy was on too. I said, if David Bailey or Arvell Reese is there at 5, what are you doing? And do you remember what I said I would do?
Well, I think you said you're going to go with Arvell Reese.
I would draft either one of them. If either one of them was there, I was going to draft. Remember, I said, you trade out. So maybe I should be a GM, Chris.
You may be. Who do you like better? Right? If they were both sitting there for you, who would you have taken, Bailey or Reese?
So here's what I like. And I didn't know Reese was going to be inside linebacker. I may have gone with Bailey just because he could play D end. And if you line him up and Tibbs would have been on the outside, him with Carter and that. Yeah. Hand in the dirt. I think he would make a great D end. I love that they moved the inside linebacker. And here's another reason why. Mike McFadden. We all love Mike McFadden, friend of the show. He's gone from a starter to now the backup. Not a slight on him by any stretch of imagination. We just got that better. When you take a starter and make him a backup, your depth, your overall team just got that much better. So I think that's great. So I love that pick there. I love what they did. You take the best players, you play the athletes, you don't play the game. We're going to trade down. There was no positional value BS going on either. So I thought that was fantastic the way they did it. Who is the guy that you really liked the most, Chris, in the draft out of all the picks that was there? Who's your guy that you were like, you know what? Yeah, I'm so glad we got this guy.
I know it's boring, but I will say Arvell Reese because I didn't expect him there. And I know there were some questions about Styles with his length. Maybe he didn't have the maybe he wasn't like your traditional middle linebacker with did he show enough tenacity, anger? He's definitely athletic and can make the plays. So I think Arvell Reese, I love the strength and the point of contact with him. So yeah, I would say Arvell Reese just because I didn't expect it, but we can go down and I know who you might mention, but I think overall, I was pretty much happy with all the picks, but Arvell Reese was the one I'm leading on.
Yeah, well, and the other thing about Reese and Maui is they're both 20 years old. So you got a
Right.
lot of years out of those guys. They're going to get better. And Arvell Reese already has grown man strength as a 20-year-old. Like when you watch some of his highlights
Mhm.
and stacking up against guys that are drafted in the league that he's going against, like
Right.
it's impressive what he
Sure
did.
is.
So I'm excited to say, and these guys, Chris, they want to be giants.
Yeah.
Every single one of them was like, Coach, you're going to get the best out of me. Coach, you're going to get my best. Coach, I'm excited to be here. Coach, I'm excited to
I
be
think that
here.
was Colton Hood
Like,
that broke down, right? Didn't Colton Hood? Was
yeah,
he the one that broke down?
Colton
Yeah.
Hood broke down.
Oh, amazing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
another guy, thank you for believing in me. Like Malachi
Mm.
Fields, like, thank
Yeah.
you for trading up to get me. You're going to get the best out of me, Coach.
Right.
Yeah, like it's back again. Like it started with last year's draft class,
Mhm.
right? Like last year's draft class seemed to be excited to be Giants. We
Mhm.
got players who want to be Giants, kids that are getting drafted that want to be Giants, and I love it. I absolutely love what was going there. But the name I'm going to throw out there,
Mhm.
and I'm going to throw this out, and I mentioned him early.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of draft picks that I love,
Mhm.
but Jack Kelly, man. Jack Kelly to me is the Cam Scatterboo of the defense. That kid is nuts. He's a BMX champion when he was 17. He had 33 sacks in his college career, between Weber State and BYU.
And I think he had 10 last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Double digits,
Between
yeah.
his 2 years at BYU, he had 15. The
Mhm.
guy's fast. You see highlights of him just blowing around Spencer Furneaux, who's a first-round draft pick. I don't know how he fell to the 6th round. I don't know what I'm missing to see
Mhm.
why he fell down to the 6th round.
Mhm.
He reminds me of a Micah McFadden. He really does. Maybe a little bit faster, maybe a little bit better of a
Mhm.
pass rusher. Again, no slight on Micah, right? But those are the guys you want. You want a Micah McFadden type
Yeah.
on this team. He'll do great in special teams. And to me, I think he's going to outplay his draft position. Like, I really do. I don't know what you guys think. Sean Jackson, another Sean, spells it the right way in there. Old Alex, thanks for coming on. Joseph, thanks for coming on. Yeah, glad to have you on.
Our
man.
usual is
Glad to have
Alex.
you
Yeah.
on.
Cole.
Yeah.
man.
And just as I was starting to say earlier, too, I just want to go out and say, man, it was awesome. Fan appreciation night. The draft show both nights were just unbelievably awesome. I know we had some audio issues night one, but everybody was great about it. I mean, they just brought it. All of our guests just brought it. The takes they had, the opinions, the
Yeah.
thoughts they had.
Tell you,
Like,
intelligent group we have. They really are.
oh,
man.
absolutely. It was great football
Yeah.
conversations all night long. And I know you guys killed it on Friday night. I know you had some great guests
Yeah,
as
it
well.
was great.
So
Yeah.
we appreciate all of Rush Nation being on there. So
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely
Um,
cool. Yeah, Reese was pushing that left tackle into the quarterback. Absolutely.
Hey, Sean, let me ask you this: with Colton Hood, and you had Newsome, who was a former first round pick of the
Yep.
Browns, and now he's with the Giants. I mean, you got to think Deonte Banks is taking notice of this, and
course.
he's either going to sink or swim. Or he's going to make the roster probably, but he can fall on this depth chart if he doesn't watch himself. I mean, he really needs to show something to for the competition, because I
Oh.
think that was that was a call out with Hood round 2.
Absolutely. And Harbaugh already said, he's like, Banks would tell you he doesn't play well and we need him to play better.
Mhm.
So that's Harbaugh saying, step it up. And then we'll talk about this a little bit later, but they signed an undrafted free agent, Thaddeus Dixon. So they're
Mhm.
improving that cornerback room, which is we needed. Like, again, you look at certain positions. Okay, you look at offensive line, you look at linebacker, you look at cornerback, you look at safety. There is competition across the board. Guys are going to earn their spots.
Mhm.
And I know, Craig's been saying a lot. We've been talking about a lot. Like, we don't want guys just to be given their spots. We want them earned. Now, of course, Maui gets the spot because that's
Yep.
what it is for right now.
Mhm.
Right. But how great is it to finally have that competition across the board? Again, guy like Colton Hood, man, I think when you watch his tape, again, projected first rounder that we got in the 2nd round, he's got a really good shot to come in and start. He's physical. He fits into Wilson's scheme. So I like what he did there. What's your thoughts on Hood?
So Hood, he transferred before he went to before he was with Colorado. Who was he with? He was with not Virginia. Who was he?
Colton Hood?
Colton
well,
Hood.
he finished at Tennessee.
I mean, Tennessee. Who was he? But where would he go before Tennessee? Somewhere else, right?
I don't know. I just know
Okay.
where he was being at.
Well,
Tennessee.
he turned into a starter because McCoy got hurt, right? With the
Yes.
ankle and the Achilles. So he
Yes.
came out of nowhere, really, for
Yep.
1 year starter. But more of a press man, right?
Yes.
Right, Sean? More of a press corner.
Very physical. He's got good
Very
length.
physical.
He's got, smart player.
I heard good ball awareness, right? He can
Yes.
locate, so which has been a problem with our corners. So
Yep.
I think the competition and the fact that he fell out of the first, I think when you look at Miller, who was still on the board at defensive tackle, who we were kind of all thinking, oh, maybe
Yeah.
they go Miller. The fact that they
Right.
took Colton Hood, I don't think they could pass on him, knowing that he slipped through the cracks after the first round. So they had to grab him.
No, definitely not. And he was in there. And it's interesting too, because like where he was, I think he was top 20 in Jeremiah's top 50 draft. So it's not some
Oh, I didn't see
scrub
that.
we
Wow.
got in the second
Right.
round.
Mhm.
So this was a guy that was good. And again, he fits into Darnell Wilson's scheme. And that's what I like.
And like Colt says, he likes to
Yeah.
mix it up. He likes
He
contact.
does.
So
He
that's one
does.
thing. This defense. I mean, we're going to see this Raven style of defense. That's what they're molding this like. They're not creating the wheel here. They're taking what worked over there and they're bringing it to the
Agreed.
Giants.
And here's the thing. I know a lot of people, let's talk about, okay, well, the elephant in the room. A lot of people were upset we didn't take Caleb Downs at 10. We passed on him twice,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
I get it. I wanted Downs. You know that I was talking about all the time. I wanted Downs on this roster for a lot of reasons. But let's look at what they did in the offseason, right? Ardarius Washington was a starter for the Ravens, right? That's a guy coming in here that's going to push. He may be our number 3 safety in Wilson's 3 safety look. So we brought back Jason Pinnock, right? So
Mhm.
we have guys there. And I do believe that with better coaching now, because Wilson, Harbaugh, they coach the safeties. They know, right?
Yep.
So I think Newman's going to get coached up. I think what he did in college is finally going to translate now. But let's not sleep. I'm going to keep bringing up Ardarius Washington because that's a guy I think too many fans are sleeping on. So I like what that safety room's doing. You got Drew Phillips, who's very physical as well. Do they move him to the outside? They may not now because of
No.
what they did. So
Mhm.
he's going to push for reps in that slot, right? That nickel corner.
And you got to think he's going to have a big rebound year after last year.
Again, how can we outside of Deontay Banks? How can we judge anybody in the defense that played under Bowen, right? Like,
yeah.
you really can't. You really can't, especially when you saw guys step it up. So we get it, right? They have to put the results in,
Mhm.
but what this team is doing and what they've done in the offseason, they're prepared to do that. And say Cole, yeah, as much as we all wanted Downs, we had some safeties. Absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm.
For months I've been on your podcast, and I was trying to figure out how the New York Giants could draft without reaching. So I was still when the Browns picked Van Nolan, left my way out for us. Absolutely, Sean. Absolutely. Like I said, I didn't want him at 5. I was worried. So, I mean, as much as we all love Dexter Lawrence got us that number 10 pick, and that number 10 pick took the pressure off now, right? Because
Yep.
you decide you go Maui at 5. Do you go what would you have done in that situation? Do you then trade up to try to get so as much as we love Dexter Lawrence, by the way, let's talk about this real quick, Chris. Dexter Lawrence was a fan favorite, was he not?
Sure was. Yeah.
Yeah. Has he went any kind of farewell or thank you to the Giants fans as of yet?
Interesting. You're right. We haven't. No. Yeah, that is a good point. We haven't seen
Right?
that. We haven't seen
Right?
that.
So, you know my feeling when you leave the Giants. Bye-bye. I move
Yeah.
on, right? So Dexter Lawrence, thank you. You got us our starting right guard
Mhm.
of the
Mhm.
future. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you've done. You were great. Loved you when you're here. I called you the
Yep.
face of the franchise.
And he was.
But how are you
yeah.
going to leave here and not give any kind of farewell to the fans?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Yeah, that's
Right?
looking at that now. Yeah, maybe that would be something to be expected, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Huh.
tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys. You feel the same way that Dexter should have done a farewell? He should have done something thanking the fans like most players do when they get traded and go somewhere else. I mean, I think he was one of the more supported Giants that was here. All because he got criticized by Carl Banks and some of the fans may have agreed. Dude, if you don't play with effort, if you don't play hard, we're going to criticize you. We criticize
Yeah.
everybody who doesn't play hard.
I mean,
we
that's
criticized Lawrence Taylor back in the day.
that's our area. This is
Right?
the area that you play for. You play for this metropolitan area. The fans are tough. Man.
Absolutely.
We're gonna love you, like no other, but we're also gonna give it to you when things don't. we don't see
Absolutely.
it.
It's fair.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I say to that. So let's go. All right. We talked about some any other draft picks that kind of really stood out to you that you really were excited about.
Well, you know what I'm interested in asking you because I know you've been a college guy. This is what I saw some tape of and and checked into was Bobby Jamison Travis.
Okay.
I know it was a very thin defensive tackle class, but after looking into him, he's just purely a run stopper. You're not going to get much
Absolutely.
of a pass rush maybe for him. Well, at
Yep.
least maybe when the coaches get with him, maybe that'll change. But I heard a stat, and it's hard for me to believe that. Do tell me if this is true. I could have sworn I heard this.
Okay.
That in the nation, he was top 5 stopping the run.
Yes, he was.
Wow.
Yeah, he was. I
So
forget
you'll confirm that.
like
That's
his
great.
PFF grade, which again we know that company, the whatever, but I think that's less subjective what they were doing for him there.
Mhm.
So yes, he was. So listen, it's hard for me to talk good about any Auburn player. It's bad enough we got the one Auburn player on our roster as it is who tends to drop passes.
Colt
But
said that too,
yeah, he's a big boy. He's going to take up
Yeah.
space. We don't need him to get after the quarterback. That's a luxury that we had with Dexter Lawrence. What we need him to do, because when you look at our linebacker crew,
Mhm.
we need him to take up blockers
And
to
get those
free up
gaps,
our
right? Let them
linebackers.
hit those gaps, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what he's going to do. He's a true nose tackle. So we're not going to switch. That
Yes.
says to me, we're not switching. We're going to stay in a 3-4 style defense. He's a true nose tackle.
Mhm.
I think he's going to be what we need him to be.
Let
He's
me
gonna
ask you,
take
Sean.
space. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think we could have? This is a far fetch, but he was undrafted from William
Right.
Penn College in Iowa. Do you think we possibly have some sort of a similarity to Snacks Harrison, Damian Harrison with Davis?
I mean, he could be, other than although he was out of top Power 5 program. Snacks was like under the radar.
Oh,
But
God,
yeah,
under the radar.
Snacks didn't get after. It's you mean as far as like not getting after the
In
quarterback more
terms of
just
the
being that
play,
run
both
stuffer?
big guys run like
Yep.
pride and run stuff, and you even heard him
Yeah.
talk about that when he got interviewed. It just kind
Yeah.
of reminded me of, man, this is the guy who doesn't care about the sacks. He wants to stop the run, which is awesome.
Yeah,
That's what he
absolutely.
wants to do. Stop the
Yeah,
run.
I could see that. I think that's a
Yeah.
good comparison. I like that a little bit with Snacks there. And listen, I do think that opens the door. I think we're going to sign DJ Reader. I think it's just a matter of time. I'd be
Yeah.
shocked if we
Yeah,
don't
the
get
comp
him
picks
or
ended
Shelby
today
Harris.
and the comp picks ended today at 4:00. So anything
Yep.
moving forward, they don't have to a comp pick. He reminds me of Biggie Smalls when you hear him speak and you see him on camera.
Oh, I haven't heard him speak. Who?
I got a couple clips. Oh man, it's great.
Jamison
It's
Travis?
great.
Yeah,
yes,
I've never heard him
it's,
speak. Okay.
it sounds like Biggie.
There we
I
go.
love
Okay.
it. We're gonna see if that
Listen,
nickname might stick somewhere down the line when he
it
starts
should.
doing
I mean,
interviews.
in New York, in New York, it absolutely should stick in that area there. So,
Oh,
all
my
right.
goodness.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about,
Okay.
let's move on. Let's talk about some of the UDFAs, right?
Mhm.
So, with draft class, we're happy. We like the draft class. I think, and I know K-Mac asked a question, which we'll get to later in our one last drive there.
Mhm.
Again, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you being here after the draft. Appreciate the guys that were on our draft appreciation show outside of Cole, but Cole was in the comments. He was in the comments.
That night one he was. Yes. day one,
Oh,
I saw
yeah,
that.
he was. He
was lurking. Cold, you were lurking like usual.
Yeah.
You're lurking
Yeah.
around.
He didn't go on. He
Cause
didn't
in
go on
trouble.
camera, but he was on. Yeah, he was talking up a storm all night. I saw him. I saw you. So, all right. Tell me a UDFA. We'll mention you got the list there, right? Of all the ones that were signed so far.
I do, but I don't want to take your thunder, man. I want you to
No,
go
go
first. I
for
know
it.
the
This is
guy you
your-
like. I know the
this is
the
your-
guy you like.
This year, well, first off, just mention all the UDFAs that were signed so far.
You want me to mention them?
Yep, all the ones that were signed.
Okay, so let me just go down the list here. We have offensive lineman from Kutztown University, right outside of Jersey in Pennsylvania,
Yep.
small Division II school. Offensive lineman Ryan Shinerke,
Yep.
Thaddeus Dixon, who fell undrafted, cornerback out
Yep.
of UNC. And this will be my guy because I'll take this one, which I think is very interesting. And you could tell with Harbaugh with putting the emphasis on special teams.
Yeah, there you go.
Intriguing. Kicker Dominic Zavada.
Yes.
Between Sauls and Sanders, this is going to be a fun competition to
Absolutely.
watch during
Did
training
you
camp.
see the video today? He just
Yes. Was that
easily kicked a
70?
70-yard field goal. Like, dude, we have a
Yeah.
kicker competition.
He-
You've been begging that for years
Oh,
of
my
having a
God.
kicker
He
competition.
reminded me of Aubrey, how smooth it was. It was like watching Aubrey on the Cowboys.
He was All-American as a freshman.
Yeah.
Zavada.
In 2024, he was, had a hell of a year. I think last year he had a little bit down year between the
Team
in the
was
40s.
a shit show last
Yeah.
year. So
Right.
yeah, that's
So
why.
that's
But I like it.
I find that intriguing. So I'll give that as my guy. That's the one I'm kind of excited about.
He's got a strong leg, and that's what we needed.
Oh man, and
Like
smooth.
I think
man.
somebody said today, maybe Harbaugh found his Justin Tucker.
Yeah, right.
So which
Uh,
now if we do, we'll have like maybe a little. And I thought this was funny, Chris, because he wears number 98. And
Right.
somebody on Giants Twitter was like, well, if 98's not available, he can wear 97. That's free.
Could you imagine? It still doesn't fit with kickers. Oh my God. It really feels like college then. Really feels like college.
Yeah.
Especially when you see the kickers with 99. Oh my
Right.
God.
It's crazy. But
Yep.
no, I like that. That's a good choice on your part. I like seeing that. I thought right away, I'm like, all right,
Yep.
we got a kicker competition.
Hey,
It wouldn't surprise me if he won it. I know you might not want to go with a rookie right away, but it would not surprise me. But
Mhm.
I like Sanders, man. Like Sauls has been good. He was,
Yep.
but I don't think he has the leg. I think that's where
Right.
he lacks.
And I think you nailed it. Sauls didn't hit any field goals really over 40 something yards last year. Sanders is
Yeah.
coming off the hip surgery from last year. He was a year
Right.
removed from playing. So you never
Right.
know, man. I mean, not that he would
Right.
aggravate it, but he hasn't played in a year either. So it's going to be fun
And
to
we
watch.
know, listen, as we've learned, you need multiple kickers.
Oh
and
God,
Harbaugh
please
will
keep
not
one on
make
the
that
practice
mistake.
squad. Please
Right?
keep one on the.
I'm
If you need
sure-
to, yeah. You
I'm
know what they
sure-
should do? They should pass this when they have the coaches meetings in the winter. You know how they keep the emergency quarterback? They should really
Yeah.
maybe think about an emergency kicker
Yeah,
because
they
it's
should.
happening too much for the
They
Giants,
should.
man.
They should. And one guy I didn't see listed there, so I don't know if he's officially signed yet.
Who was that?
And he's one of two guys I was going to bring up, but Kreutz out of Illinois, Olin Kreutz's son.
Oh,
Has
yeah.
he not officially
was a late
signed?
one. I don't know. That might have
Okay.
came later. These are the ones that I put the notables on the ticker, but and you have Damon Bankston, which is interesting, out of New Mexico. Returner,
Yeah, speed guy, all
big
that. Yep.
returner, you know,
Yep.
4.3 something 40.
The number 4 running back. He'll compete with Turbo Miller.
Yeah,
He'll
and he can
compete
catch
with
out of the
Eric Gray.
backfield. So interesting.
Right.
there.
Maybe that'll get us rid of Eric Gray finally. So,
Right.
that guy there.
Yeah.
But the guy that I like, again, here's my thing. I like Kreutz if he's officially signed, because again, Olin Kreutz was a heck of an old lineman for the Bears.
Yeah, for the Bears.
So
yeah.
I'll take a son of a former player. I know he's not nearly as good as his dad, but that's what Chris Snee is for, right? Like you look at these linemen being signed, Chris Snee is doing his job.
Oh, check that out. Thanks, Daniel. He's a camp invite. That's why he hasn't been signed.
Okay, all right. So I like that.
Good
I like he
stuff.
got invited to camp.
Cool,
Okay.
Daniel.
But the guy that I like signed, I do like
Mhm.
Thaddeus Dixon.
Yeah, I knew. That's why
he
I
had
left it for you.
he had a very good Senior Bowl week from with that.
Mhm.
I think he played under Belichick, right? So you got a little experience there. Now he adds depth to our room, so that may be somebody that surprises us there. But again, what it shows to me, they had conviction, they know what they wanted, they know the type of guys they wanted, and they executed a plan, not just in the draft, but with the UDFAs as well.
Mhm.
So I like it. I like what they did. I like it a lot, actually. The only pick I was a little kind of, I was like, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Mhm.
But the more was Malachi Fields. I was like, all right, yeah, solid.
Oh,
pick.
really?
But the more I kind of learned about him, like
Mhm.
it didn't move me.
Sure.
Like either way is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like Arvell Reese, I was excited as hell.
Mhm.
Right. Like Maui, I was like, all right, yeah, I see what you're doing. You're putting the guard. Colton Hood excited me. Those guys, they excited me. But I think top to bottom, I like what they did. Like this team has an identity now, right?
Yeah.
Like how many times we've been talking about what's the identity of this team, and we don't.
We don't know.
Now we do, man. Tough,
Yeah.
physical, loves ball. Like
Mhm.
these are the guys we want, and these guys want to play with Jackson Dart.
Yeah, they always mention him, even the defensive guys.
Yeah, they mentioned Jackson Dart, and what I like, I'm bring this up real quick. So Dart met with Maui, and then Carter met with Reese. They did it on their own. So Carter stepping up, doing that leadership as a draft pick from
That's
last
great.
year,
That's great.
right? Like that's what you like to see, those things there. Now, one thing I want to touch upon here, Chris, and I know we didn't have it on here, but I don't know if you saw Harbaugh's, because we love and hate our New York Giants media. Is that fair to say?
That is absolutely fair to say.
Okay. So, of course, our New York media is going to ask John Harbaugh about Malik Neighbors' comments on the draft show
Mhm.
and how
Mhm.
he didn't understand why they drafted Arvell Reese. How are they going to
Right.
use him? Where's he going to fit? His
Mhm.
reaction to the Maui pick. Did you catch Harbaugh's response when that question was asked by
I
our
did.
Giants media person, who I
I
will not name, but
Right. I did catch his response, and I thought it was perfect.
yeah, yeah,
About, hey, you know
agreed.
what? He's gonna express his thoughts. That's fine. We had a great conversation. There's nothing wrong with him, expressing his thoughts. He did it in the right way. So he put out that fire pretty quick. Hey,
He
Harbaugh's
did.
been doing this a long time, right?
Absolutely. He's gonna handle the media, and they're gonna go after him. They're gonna say things, but he's gonna handle them, which I like. And the other thing he said was this: as long as his heart was in the right place,
Right.
and he's like, "Let me show you what we're gonna do." So what
Mhm.
that did is it showed that yeah, he's an old school coach. Yes, he's gonna be tough. Yes, he's gonna demand a lot of you, but he's also not out of tune with the younger generation where they like to express themselves. They like to do things differently. It's going to get more free agents that are going to want to come play for him.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good. Like he put his foot down in a way that wasn't obvious. He allowed Malik, he let Malik know, Malik, you can be how you be, but maybe you need to be. And here's the other thing: people making a big deal out of it. Again, he's a young kid. They're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
How dumb were we at 22 years old?
Yeah, they're gonna say things. And now with the age of social media,
Right?
everything else, there's no filters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got it.
Zero filter. They don't think before they talk. So I
Right.
thought that was the thing that I didn't want that to go untalked about on the show
That's a
tonight,
good point.
because I thought that was huge there. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about, let's kind of nice transition there into, let's talk about some possible free agents that are still out there. And then we'll get into a little OBJ news, because I know like Cole likes hearing about OBJ a
Yeah.
lot on this show. So we don't want to let him down, because, he supported us on draft night. And so we want to give something back to Cole. So we're going to talk about OBJ as a thank you for Cole for showing up on draft night when he said he was going to boycott.
Oh, my God.
Rob LG men are back. We hope so, man. We hope so. K-Mac, Nathan.
Yeah, thanks,
McCartney.
Nathan. Yep.
Welcome, Dana Duran. Thank you for that earlier. Again, everybody that's joining us
Yeah,
tonight,
Rob,
we
thanks for
appreciate you
jumping
guys
in.
being here, jumping in. Get your questions ready for one last drive that we're going to do here in about 20 minutes or so, or maybe 15 minutes. We'll get that going. So I know there's been a couple already, but keep coming with the questions, because we're going to answer them for you. But all right, Chris, who you got? Who you think they're going to sign as far as free agents? We know a couple names already been talked about, but do you think those names will happen? Do you think there's somebody else out there? Give me your kind of thoughts on the free agents.
Yeah, well, I think DJ Reader is going to be a done deal. I think they
Okay.
had to wait till after the comp pick, compensatory pick time.
Yep. The formula.
Left today at 4:00. That ended,
Yep.
so now they could sign anybody, not have to give up a 2020 comp pick. So I think we'll
Okay.
probably look at him the next couple of days, which will beef up a little bit, better with
Okay.
another defensive tackle in the room. And the interesting one is the meeting tomorrow, like you and I talked about a couple minutes ago before the show. It's going to be
Yep.
interesting to see what transpires with Odell, and if he actually gets an invite to camp when that
Yep.
kicks off, mini camp in a month, veteran
Yeah.
mini camp. I wouldn't be. Let me ask you this,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sean. If he signs a contract, or it gets signed next couple days, we have seen veterans attend rookie mini camp. Would you
Yeah.
expect him to be at rookie mini camp, considering he hasn't played in a year? Because they are allowed as veterans to play if they haven't. We've seen veterans at the rookie mini camp.
But that's more. Yeah. Have they done that, or was that just so they could try out?
Yeah, maybe that's just because of tryout invite. Yeah, you might
Yeah.
be right. Okay.
Okay.
So,
I think that's what it was. No, I wouldn't expect him. He'd want to save the wear and tear on his body.
yeah, true.
Is what I would
But
think.
they got to
with
make a
that.
decision, right, Sean? I mean, veteran mini camp is going to be in a month, so they got to kind of, all right, what are we doing here soon?
Well, yeah. Well, and I'll address it in a little bit, minute too, a little bit more about OBJ. But let me talk. I agree with you. I think DJ Reader. I think unless somebody else came along, but I think that makes sense. It could be a last minute change, or maybe it doesn't. But it seems like all signs are pointing that. But then again, we had the media saying that Kayvon was going to get traded, and they tried to trade him at draft day, and then come to find out that was not the case. So I'm curious to see how much of this intel is accurate, but it sounds like Shelby Harris they had in, so maybe they try to get him now. I wonder if they'll reach out to Calais Campbell. I know Arizona came out and said they're waiting to hear maybe he might decide to retire. They're not sure what he's going to
probably
do.
wait till after training camp or mid training camp.
He may.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if they try to reach out to him.
Right.
But I mean, Harbaugh was clear as day when he said we're not done adding to the D tackle room. So
right.
they're going to add at least a 2 to 3 more. And I think DJ Reader's the guy. And I think now that they have that extra money, they'll use it. They'll get creative to
Right.
get a guy like DJ Reader because he's a space eater.
Mhm,
That's what we need. We need
Yep.
space eaters, right?
That's
So
right.
you put him with Reader and the Auburn nose tackle. I think that's what we need at this point. Because again, I think this defense is going to be predicated on our linebackers and the safeties, not our nose tackle.
Yeah.
So that's what I think there. Now, as far as OBJ, Harbaugh's comments, all right? He's going to talk. This is the other interesting thing when we talked about earlier that this is definitely Harbaugh's show. Harbaugh is calling OBJ. It's not Joe Shane who's calling him. Harbaugh's like, I'm calling him Tuesday night. We're going to have this conversation. We're going to see if it's a good fit. He said, there's 3 things. I put this out in a tweet. And of course, I'm not going to remember everything that I said. But first thing is that this is Harbaugh's show. He's running the roster. He's making those decisions. No doubt about it. The second thing he said was, this is not going to be Odell Beckham of old. This is going to be Odell 2.0.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, and we've talked about that in here, right? I think fans need to, if he can be a possession receiver, a guy you can count on 3rd down to get open, run the routes, do what he needs to do, I think that's a role that fits him. I'm not expecting him to come in. I know Craig was all about, well, he's got to be a special teams guy. He's 33 years old. I don't expect him to be, and I don't care if he takes up a roster spot for somebody else that could play special teams. You figure it out. If he makes the wide receiver room better, that's fine. But I said it's got to be a good fit. They got to figure out if it works or not. But the third thing, I just remembered it, and this really stood out to me. Him coming in and being a mentor for that wide receiver room. I think if he's willing to do that, and if Harbaugh put that out there and he's willing to do it, I think they sign him. Because other than Darnell Mooney, who's still kind of young himself, there's not a vet presence in that room. I'm not counting Darius Slayton, no offense to him, but that's not the type of vet I want in that room, right? I believe he could be a good mentor for guys. Leak wants him in that locker room. Dart wants him in that locker room, but it's got to be a good fit. So we'll see. What do you think about Harbaugh's comments about mentioning those 3 things?
Yeah, no, I saw that yesterday. I think he mentioned it Sunday, right? Yesterday, I think he mentioned it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, yes. So I think once again, Harbaugh said all the right things. It's got to work for both parties. It's got to work not only for the Giants, but it's got to work for Odell, which is great. I'm glad he just threw it on Odell as well. It's got to work for him. Doesn't mean the Giants are going to take it and then deal with it. That he has to understand the conditions, what it's going to be like, and he's got to accept it. And if he can't, then basically read between the lines, it's not going to work. But if he can't accept it, I'm with you. And I think during training camp, him being a mentor to these young receivers, it still doesn't guarantee he makes the team, but he's going to go out there and he's going to showcase himself on what the work ethic's like, how to run routes, how to work hard, and just how to be a professional to the younger guys. And whether he makes the team or not, it can go a long way in training camp. And the other thing is, it's not to say that there's some injuries the first couple weeks. He knows the playbook. He was in camp. It's not to say that just because he gets released doesn't mean he can't come back either. We've seen that with players. So I like the fact, get him in the playbook, learn the system, be a part of the team, see how it goes in training camp. And if the numbers don't fall and he's released, he's on the short list if you need him.
Yeah. And I got the sense from reading Harbaugh's comments too, was that it seems like more of a humble OBJ who just wants to play football. Like that's what he wants to do. And we know Harbaugh wants guys that want to play football. So,
he's training you've seen Sean the videos. I know anybody could, make the videos look better than they are, or, kind of just put everything out there constantly. But man, the guy does work hard. You can tell he wants it. He has something to prove.
He does. And that's what you want to see. And again, other players will feed off of that. He always worked hard. We saw his practice videos when he was with the Giants, what he did. He was always working hard. That's going to push other guys. So those are the types of things that you want. So I am curious to see what they do. I don't think that the drafting of Malachi Fields changes anything to do with that. But what I do like, and Nathan McCartney brought this up, is Dart's got 3 red zone targets right now. He's got Love, he's got Johnson, Likely, and Malachi Fields. Those are all guys that can go up and Drew. Well done, Drew. Well done. Well done. Well done.
And
I'm
Sean,
sure
we
that'll
talk
be in the
about, we
contract.
pretend like we're not going to have injuries. I mean, guys are going to get dinged up with
Right.
ankles and they are going to be out for time. It's
Right.
going to happen. We don't want ACLs or anything torn, but guys will get nicked up and miss games. So the way the numbers fall, depending on, long-term, short-term IR, it could be a situation where, hey, you know what? A numbers game, he makes the team because somebody's going to be out for the first 4 weeks.
You
You
gotta
just
have
don't
depth.
know. Got to have
Right,
that.
because
That's why
we
you
can't
carry
lose
90
a season because we
preseason.
can't lose a season because guys got injured and the second and third stringer are bums, right? Like not being able to keep us in games, keep us competitive, help us win games. So I agree. I think that's what we need to do. And we've talked about it ad nauseum. Just I think he can be good. He's just got to be the right mindset to come in and do it. And if the team wants him, if Harbaugh wants him, if it's a good fit, if it makes sense, we'll see what happens. We'll find out more. We'll find out on Wednesday what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If he doesn't sign, no biggie.
Yeah.
If he signs, great.
And you know what, Sean? Everybody brings up how he did in Miami or Baltimore. Well, neither one of those teams were scheming their offense around OBJ like when he was with the Giants. He came in at a different point in his career. Their game plans were not surrounding OBJ. He was just a piece of the game plan. So that could be part of it too. And not that he would be, a big part of the game plan here, but the way the inexperience in the receiver room could give him more opportunities that he actually had in Baltimore and Miami.
I don't disagree. Hey, put up Rob LG man comments are back about no,
the other one. Oh, okay.
No,
Yep.
one above it.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Sean.
All right. So we talked about this earlier in the show. Yeah, right. Listen, Fields is a game speed. He runs faster game speed. Harbaugh come out and said when they timed him in the games, he's consistently running over 20 miles per hour. We'll take that. That's what OBJ ran in his workout, over 20 miles per hour. So I know guys get hung up on 40 times. It's understandable because that's all they talk about. But again, same thing with Scatterbo. That's why he dropped last year.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing about Scatterbo, and he proved it in the games. His game speed is fast. And the reason I know that is because my 40 time was not nearly as fast as my game speed was. So
what was your 40 time? Let's hear it. What was it?
Oh God, way back in the day, it was somewhere around, and again, this is like what, almost 30 years ago. I think I was around like a 4.7.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
Where I was too, right around there. Yeah.
Yeah. But I wasn't a straight line speed guy. I needed that adrenaline. I needed that feel of the game. Oh, burrito cake. No, it's a slice of pizza, Drew. It's a slice of pizza. Let's get it right. Or chicken parm. You put chicken parm or a slice of pizza anywhere, I'm beating anybody. Anybody. Absolutely. So I think Fields is going to surprise some people too. He's another one of my surprise guys that can make an impact. Him and Jack Kelly.
And Sean, tell me for a moment, but the way he positions his body going up for those one-on-ones, I mean, that's a big part of it too, right? I mean, just the angle and the position that he makes those catches, that's a big part. How he contours his body and just kind of gets.
He tracks the ball like he's a very good deep ball tracker, and that's what you need.
And he catches everything. Good hands.
He does, and I'll say this to anybody: like, don't just watch his Notre Dame tape. Go back and watch his Virginia film, and you're going to see some different things there. He broke tackles. He made some guys miss. So anybody watching, go and check out his tape from Virginia, and you'll see a little bit of different thing. Because again, they had Love and the other guy, the other running back. I can't think of his name right now for Notre Dame. That offense is going to revolve around that. So, excuse me. So yeah, I think that's good there. All right, let's get our questions in, guys. We're going to wrap up here in a couple minutes, but I know there's some questions up earlier. Chris, I'll give you a couple minutes to try to find the one last drive thing. I'll talk about some other things, but I think overall,
one last drive.
Well,
we're going to one last drive. Is that what we're doing?
Well, in a couple minutes, but I want to give you a chance to actually kind of find it.
Scroll through the 200 clips that Craig put together.
Exactly. It was funny. We looked like amateur hour on the draft show Thursday night because all the mic issues.
And did you hear what and Craig, he kind of cleared that up.
Did he find it out? What happened?
Yeah, because so many StreamYard platform on the server had so many people that night for round one. Once you had 4 people on, somebody was losing sound. So 2 people were okay, but once you went to 3 or 4, it started to get dicey with sound. Because on night 2 we were actually all right.
Yeah,
with 3 people. But anyway,
you are right. There is one place by me that is fairly close to having good pizza, where I live in Florida. So yes, but yes, you are right. It is hard to find. I did find one place with pizza, and I did find one place with very good chicken parm, but then they changed ownership, so I don't know how it is now. Um, but yeah, I think, listen, again, we want to say thank you to everybody that was out there Thursday and Friday night on the Fan Appreciation Show. I want to thank everybody was on here tonight, kind of tuning in. It was just, we appreciate you guys being with us every week. We're here doing what we're doing, supporting us. Remember, guys, like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. If you have friends, if you don't have friends, tell your enemies about us. Check us out. Tell everybody, check us out. We appreciate sport. We love the sport. And I want to bring up Echo New York Giants comment there at 8:18, Chris, because he makes a good point, what Steve Smith said. There we go. So yeah, so a couple of things. He did talk about stage fright a little bit. The other thing he talked about was his conditioning. When he gets tired, things kind of drop down. Well, I mean, that's natural for anybody, right? If you're tired or whatever, a lot of your route running, whatever, your angles, anything kind of drops down, whatever position you're playing. But here's the thing. Harbaugh is known for running tough practices, right? So if your issue is a conditioning issue, Chris, do you think that Malachi Fields is going to have a conditioning issue here playing under John Harbaugh?
No, because he's going to be prepared, because that first day they're going to go through that. To get to practice, you got to pass that conditioning test.
Absolutely. So I agree with that. Yeah, now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a quick pat in the back. And I know you're going to back me up on this because you know I said it. So Craig was hounding for a wide receiver in the first round and cornerback in the first round. And do you remember I said you can get a starting cornerback in the second round? You can get a starting wide receiver in the third round in this draft. I remember I said we don't need a number one receiver. We don't need a first round wide receiver because we have Fields. You don't draft somebody because he's going to miss a couple games. What did the Giants do, Chris?
Well, we got Fields in the first and we got Hood in the second. So which dropped to the second, right. To the third, but we got Hood in the second.
Fields can be a great compliment to what Malik Neighbors is doing, because Isaiah Likely is going to be our number two target, our number two option in that offense. Right. Yeah. So I like that. And again, we got Colt Hood in the second round who can come in and start in the second round. So I just want to give myself a little Joker got it right with the draft predictions and putting it out there. Good call. So absolutely. So there we go.
Let's see. We got
every now and then I got to give myself a little pat in the back because, Craig doesn't always do it.
Well, sometimes Craig has that knee-jerk reaction. He goes crazy right off the bat. He's got to let
we love him. He's the king.
Yes. He's the king. Let the dust settle sometimes, but no.
Absolutely.
He's good.
Absolutely. What do you think about D-Banks returning kicks so we get something out of him, or maybe better coaching or about the best of him? What do you think about that? Okay. Well, you know what? Before we answer that, Chris, I think you know what time it is, right? Is it time to go into?
Is that time? It's going to be probably more time until I find it. Here we go. We got it.
Here we go. One last drive. So let's do it. I'm going to ask you again. Chris, what do you think about D-Banks returning kicks so we get something out of him, or maybe better coaching will bring out the best in him? What do you think?
I think looking at the tape from last year, he definitely did a great job returning kicks. It's not why we drafted him as a number one, but yeah, I think he's going to be in the competition for returning kicks because he's fallen on the depth chart now. Now he's going to have to contribute on specials to maybe even he'll make the team. But now with Newsome, you have Colton Hood, and now this cornerback room is starting to get filled a little bit. He's going to have to contribute in other areas if he's not going to start. So yeah, I think it's a really good possibility on kicks, not punts, but kicks. He's a return.
I agree. And one of the things we saw a little more excitement out of him when he was returning kicks. Like we saw a little more energy out of him than we saw when he was playing DB. So I think
maybe that translates too, Sean. Maybe that translates to the cornerback position. Just give him more confidence, and
I think so. And I do think coaching will bring out a little bit more in him. I think the scheme could help him a little bit more.
Right.
Listen, he's got to learn how to play zone better. That's what it comes down to. He's really got to do that. So it's on him to put in the work, though, to want to get better with the coaching, because the coaching's definitely there. Without a doubt, the coaching is there now.
Yeah, one thing Harbaugh said when he got hired that stuck out with me was like he shouldn't have to coach his coaches, and I think that's a great line. He shouldn't have to babysit his coaches to make sure that they're doing the job they need to do. He should be able to say, "Hey, you're hired as our DB coach, and this is go do your thing," and not have to worry about it and expect
Mhm.
expect that he's going to play to the strengths. And I think that was the problem maybe with some of these coaches we've had in the past. They weren't playing to the strengths of our players. And that's why in the defense, I think we regressed personally, is because they were trying to make some of these guys do things that they weren't, maybe that wasn't their best role, to do. We saw too much
Absolutely.
regression on defense with too many players. So hopefully that
Absolutely.
changes. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll scroll back up to the top, see where that first question is, and we'll get the next question since we kind of put Nathan up there, even though it was later. I know K-Mac had a question early on too, if I'm not mistaken.
Tell me if you catch it.
Yeah, that's
so
a
we'll go
scroll
in
back up
here.
because I don't have the same
Taja.
view anymore. But
Oh, you can't. Can you see it? No?
yeah, I can, just not the way you can see it.
Okay.
Did
Did the Giants? Here we go. K-Mac, did we answer that one? Did the
we
Giants
did not,
get
because
four
this we
starters in
it's
the
one
draft?
last drive. So you can, all right, I'll take that one then. So yeah, I think they did get 4 starters in this draft. I think obviously Reese is going to start. we already see him plugged in as the starter. I think Hood has a really good chance to start. And
Let
then
me
I think
stop you
Fields-
right there. You think the
Yeah.
competition is some Hood on that other cornerback spot? What do you think right now?
Man,
Not that who's going to win, but is Banks still in the competition, or do you think they're looking
I
more
think
at
he
Newsome and Hood?
technically is, but I
Yeah.
don't know that he is. Like he may be on the other side. He may be,
Right.
maybe not. It's going to be Hood and Newsome,
Mhm.
and then maybe Banks is on the Debo side, maybe in there for the backup there potentially. But I think Hood's got a really good shot to be the starter, and then I think Fields. I think he can. I think so. Like whether it's the first 4 picks are starters, I think we have 4 starters in this draft.
Yeah.
Where that comes from
Mhm.
could come from anywhere else, but I think our first 4 picks could be our 4 starters. What do you
I
think?
mean, and Sean, with the red zone, with Likely and Fields with their height.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's some good that's some nice targets in the end zone for
Yeah.
some jump balls with those 2 guys.
I agree. So I do.
Good
You think they
size.
got 4 starters in this draft, Chris?
Definitely the 2. Would you Davis or Travis? I would say definitely. I would say 3 right now.
Okay, who's your 3? Obviously the first 2.
First 2, and I guess you know what? I'll go with Hood. I'll go with Hood
Okay.
winning the job just because Newsome's bounced around a little bit, and he's a aggressive corner
Okay.
with Hood.
All right.
I'll go out on a limb. I'll say Hood wins that job.
Who wins that job? Okay. Yeah. So you got 3. I got 4. I think 4 potentially.
I'm sorry.
I
Who
think
was your other one?
Fields?
Okay.
I think he can earn
Yeah.
a starting spot. I do. For
Well-
his size, his run blocking ability, and the fact that we're going to run the ball, it would not surprise me that he wins the wide receiver 2 job.
Over Slate. This is saying if Neighbors is ready, he'll beat Slayton
Yes.
out. Wow.
I think
all
so.
right.
I don't think Slayton's as good of a blocker.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's not big. He's not tough. He's not physical. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember him being a great run blocker.
This is why training camp's going to be great. Well,
There's a competition. That's what we want. I'm going to say that again. So,
Yep.
So we think between the 2 of us, we think there's 3 out of 4 starters in this draft.
Mhm.
So, what else we got? What any questions after that?
let's see. What we have next 4 starters. Let's see. Anybody else? Hit us up.
Everybody's got draft hangover right now.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get out of this in another week, and we'll be ready for mini camp next week. Rookie mini
Yeah.
camp.
And again, we should have Ryan Dunleavy coming back next week again. Craig will be back next week, as far as we know.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Who was your? Well, we already said. Did you answer this one? Who was your favorite draft pick? Yeah, we caught that earlier.
We know you said you went with Reese, right?
Reese? Yeah.
Yeah, and I went
Jack
with
Kelly?
I did, yeah. I mean, because I would have went Reese too. I love the Reese pick. You know me and linebackers. I love linebackers. But I went with Jack Kelly, and I love guys like that. Like I love guys that are just animals and they're just nonstop motors.
And Maui Noah just got you excited. I mean, man, he's moved up on the lovable chart.
Absolutely. As soon as you heard him talk and he was saying things, absolutely. And the fact, again, he's going to be playing guard. Like, think about that O line, Chris. You got Andrew Thomas, Runyon Jr., JMS, Maui, and then Jermaine. Our two bookend tackles are two of the top tackles in the league.
How about running back of Maui with Ricard and Scatterbo inside 4 minutes in the fourth quarter? Just basically taking the will away, hopefully, the opposing team.
My God. Maui leading away, Ricard behind him, and then getting Scatterbo. Imagine being a secondary where you got to take on those three guys. It's crazy. So I love it, man. I've been saying it to so many people, and everybody's like, oh, it's a passing league. It's a passing league. They're going to run the ball. They're going to be a run-first team. There's no doubt. Look at who they drafted. It tells you what they want to be. They want to be big, tough, physical. They're not going to be one-dimensional.
Right.
There's a difference between being a run-first team and being one-dimensional, right? They're going to be a run-first, a run-dominant team, which is then going to wear down teams. And think about the year that Malik Neighbors could have if he comes back fully healthy, right? You got a defense that's tired. You got a defense that's been taking on blocks, including cornerbacks and safeties, right? And then you get third and fourth quarter, they're tired and worn down. Malik Neighbors wide open, right? Like this is what he wants to do. And I do think it's a great situation here. And I think this offense is going to put up points.
Yeah, we said this on Friday. You know, during the season, it's all about all the excitement with the highlights and a lot of flashiness. But when it comes to the playoffs, man, it's running the ball and defense.
Absolutely.
And this is what this team is being built for, to win in the playoffs.
I mean, Seattle won the Super Bowl running the ball and a great defense. New England made the Super Bowl with running the ball and having a very good defense, right? Like Rams could have won that game against the Seahawks, and they used the 3 tight end formation in the playoffs to try to win. If they don't muff 2 punts, they probably beat the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Right. So the league is coming, and Carl Banks made this great point, and I've been saying it for weeks, that the league is cyclical. Defenses are adjusting to what the offense is doing. Offenses then adjusted. They're getting bigger because defenses got smaller to combat the passing game, right? Look at what the teams are doing. They're getting big guys, big athletic guys.
The big linebackers have come back now. When it was all nickel dime, people were ignoring the teams were ignoring the linebacker.
This is
position.
what happens after a number of years. Coordinators adapt, whether it's O coordinators or D coordinators, they're going to adapt. They're going to change. Teams are going to draft differently based on what's going on and how to get ahead in the league. And you're going to see it happening. And I want a balanced league. I don't want passing all over the place. I don't want it. I want balance. I want good defense. So I'm excited. Again, they got to do the results. Off season, we talk about all the time, Chris. Off season is about optimism, right? Like, you got to feel optimistic after this draft. Yes, we want to see the results, but you got to feel optimistic after this draft, right? And what they've done.
Oh, definitely. And what's funny is it's been 40 years since the Giants, 40-something years, the Giants drafted Carl Banks. And we all talked about it before last year, when the Giants haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round in so many years. And here we are. The Giants have done it twice in 2 years in a row. So
exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. We're going to get the big blue wrecking crew back now with this linebacker crew. And these guys are going to feed off of each other, man. And I think now with Reese there and that, I think that makes Tibbs better. Yep. Again, if we don't trade him at the deadline and he gets a comp pick, they want him here. I think he makes the team better and they'll figure out what to do. I'm going to stand by this. And I tried to get Ryan to ask, I tagged him in Twitter. I want him to ask Harbaugh and Wilson, have you given any thought? Would you put Kayvon's hand in the dirt and use him as a DN like he was used in college, and put Carter and Burns on the edge? Would you do that? Because I think that's a great package to do. I think that makes the team better. So we'll see if we can get that accomplished. I'm pushing for it.
Downs. Yeah,
jump on the train. Jump on the train.
I think we go back to what Harbaugh said a couple of days ago. This defense is going to be kind of positionless, not just with Reese, but with everybody. It's going to be game plan specific. That's what I like to call it. It's going to be geared towards the team they're playing and how they're going to run the game plan. So, which is great. Keep them guessing, right?
Absolutely. Drew, is he signing his retirement letter? For Odell. That's the way to bring it, Drew. That's why we love you, Drew. We got to do a collab, Chris. We got to do a collab with Drew. I'll have to do a live show because he's down here in Florida. He's not far from me. We got to make this work, Drew. We got to make it work. You have your people talk with Craig's people, and let's figure out a way to make this work.
Yep.
Ooh, all right, Chris. So do you think the very physical game where we beat down the Eagles on Thursday Night Football. Is that really kind of the blueprint sample for Harbaugh's Giants identity? What do you think?
That was something that we weren't used to last year. We saw that game. You actually, if everybody remembers, they took the will away from the Eagles. At the end of that game, the Eagles wanted no more. They threw the white flag up. So yeah, I think that is going to be a lot more what we're going to see, because that was reminiscent watching that game of like a Ravens team. Yeah. It was like, who are these guys, right? It wasn't something we're used to lately. So yeah, I think a lot more of those type of physical type of play we're going to be in store for.
And I do feel, and Chris, let me ask you this, because I want to get your opinion on this. Do you feel that Harbaugh has more of his influence here on this Giants team than maybe he did with the Ravens during that draft? Like, because did you see like the owner came out and made a 5th round pick? He wanted to have 1 pick in this draft.
Yeah.
So do you feel like Harbaugh had more of his stamp on a roster than maybe he was able to do in Baltimore?
100%. Not that he's not taking input from Shane or even Aponte on some things, but I think that was one of the conditions. He has the last say, and that with Acosta and who's the owner?
I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he had a lot of say in Baltimore, but I think he has the final say here. I think it's his call to make. Whether he wants to agree, right? And don't you agree? Like he's going to agree with it. Shane will put it out there. Either he goes with it or has a different voice of opinion, and maybe pivots somewhere else. But it's his call. It's
his call. It's his roster, because he got to win or lose with this roster, and I think it is his stamp.
Ozzie.
He said
Ozzie's
along,
gone, but yeah,
no, yeah, not the GM. He was talking about the owner.
Oh, yeah, the owner. Right.
No, you were talking about the owner. Is what I'm saying. Not the GM.
Right.
Right.
Who did Craig do that? Did you do that, Ozzie?
No, I didn't do that. Craig must be looking. Look, Craig's checking in on us. Craig's checking in on us. Look at that.
Who put that, Ozzie? I didn't write that.
Izzy, he put Izzy first. See, he was so
that's a Craig move. That's a Craig move.
Absolutely. Craig checking in on us, make sure how we're doing.
Sure. You know, I picture Harbaugh driving the car, Dawn Aponte in the front seat, Shane in the back seat. And Harbaugh and Dawn Aponte are talking just by themselves, amongst themselves. Shane has no part of the conversation, but at some point while they're driving, he looks back at Shane and says, "Hey, Joe, what do you think?" "All right, thanks." And basically just wants to hear what he has to say. Just give me some input. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with it, but let me just hear what you're thinking in your brain.
I want to make you feel good. I want to make you feel like you have an opinion. Like, because he said and all his pressure too. He's like, "Right, Joe? Right, Joe? Right, Joe?" "Yes, John. Like. Yes, John." I feel good about it. I hope Joe feels good about it too. Hey, listen, but he even turned to Joe and be like, "Joe, how do you feel about the draft picks?"
Steve Bisciotti. Yes, good call. Good call. So like Joe should be happy he's in the car, right? He's not been left at the house. Like he's actually in the car and he's giving his input. Now, whether John Harbaugh goes along with it, that's up to him. But I believe it's Harbaugh's call all the way on anything personnel wise and the draft was his final.
And like call. I said before, and I don't remember if I brought this on air or we just talked about backstage, but Shane's really good at knowing the intel of who's drafting who, where they're going to get drafted. He's good at making draft day trades. He doesn't lose a trade. I know everybody was upset about the picks, but we gave up 11% less in picks than what other people did in that same position. And again, it was a 4th round pick. Like we're really upset about a 2027 4th round pick next year. I'm not. Like, come on. Right?
Yeah, that's one thing with Shane. He has a good pulse for the draft and what's going on.
He's got whatever intel, whatever pulse he's got. He's good about that. He's good at putting in the prep work on the guys, in my opinion, to find what a coach is looking for. So he's got a coach in Harbaugh that knows what he's looking for, knows what he wants. He is looking for excellence. I think Shane's good at that. So let me ask this, and we can end after this here.
And I'm going to ask you something as well. Go ahead.
All right, perfect. So do you think that Joe Shane gets let go in the next couple weeks?
I know there's been some rumblings, but I don't.
Okay.
I feel like him and Harbaugh actually have a pretty decent relationship on camera and what you've seen. It would really throw a curveball that what we were watching. It seems like Joe knows his role. He's fine with it, and Harbaugh's fine with him because of it. So I don't think he's going anywhere till an evaluation after the year, and we see what happens.
Okay, right. And plus, and Craig put that out, the next year they'll trade. They also get a 4th round comp pick. So it's all good. It's all good. It's not, I've said all along, and this is what I'm happy with the Giants did. I tweeted it and tweeted it and tweeted it for weeks, for months. quality over quantity. And this is what the Giants did. They didn't trade back. They didn't try to get cute. They didn't try to get all these extra picks. They wanted good players. They wanted quality players, and that's what they got. And I will take that all day long instead of saying, oh, we don't have a 3rd round pick. Well, guess what? We didn't have a 4th round pick and we got a 3rd round pick. So we changed it there. And again, 2007, I talked about, we had 4 or 5 draft picks that year. They did well with it. So it's not how many you have, it's what you do. Because this is not a rebuilding team. This is not a team where you need to start over and be like, we got to get as many drafts as we can because we got to bring in as many. No, this is a team you build on. So I know you want to ask me a question. We'll let you end the show with the final question.
All right. So, and to you, Sean, and anybody else out there, listen, the scouting department, we've seen it happen after the draft is over. The scouting department starts getting an exit. So, what's your feeling? You think we're going to see a big group of scouts being let go, and obviously maybe some Baltimore scouts come on board that are contracts expiring? What's your feeling on the scouting department?
So here's what I would say. So my initial thought was that Harbaugh wanted to bring in more of the guys that he knows he has a relationship with. I thought maybe Shane would be let go so that he can bring in somebody that he has a good working relationship with. I think there might be a couple scouts that get let go. I don't think a lot. And I think after you just had the draft that you had, I don't know that you can make that move.
I feel the same way. I feel like
right?
it's kind of proven their case a little bit better this draft and the way.
Right. Now, the only thing that may change that is Harbaugh said a couple of times they didn't expect those guys to be there at 5 and 10. So does that change his thinking of, well, we got lucky, guys dropped and we got them, and it wasn't what we did. So I don't know, but my gut initially was, yeah, there'll be some changes. I still think there might be a couple ones here or there potentially, right? I'm not so sure there's going to be major changes now, major shakeups.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I would anticipate maybe a couple scouts from Baltimore coming over on expired contracts just because he knows familiarity with them and just has a relationship. But I don't think as big as a turnover as I thought initially. I actually think there might be just a few.
Yeah. You know, the other thing, and we'll end here too now. The name that I didn't hear a lot this offseason, which you had heard in previous drafts off seasons, was Tim McDonald. His name didn't come up. I find that very interesting, and I like it. Yeah, I like that it didn't. So maybe he took a little bit more of a backseat as well, or he kind of was like, all right, we got somebody here who knows what he's doing out. Like, I kind of like that. There wasn't much there. Listen, Craig, Boo, keep going. Come on, we can't go on all night.
That's it.
You're not here. You're not on the show. Oh, look at he's pumping himself up over there. Oh, you gotta love it. You know what, Chris? We'll do one thing for him. Can you find it? Play his little thing. Play his little intro. Play his little "It's Good to Be the King."
All right, give me 30 minutes.
Not the whole intro, just the one little "It's Good to Be."
It's good to be the king.
Yeah, so we want to give a shout out to Craig for not being here tonight so we could have a fantastic show. So thank you, Craig.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Craig, we miss you. Love you. Be back next week. It'll be a great show, as always. There's only one king.
That's only one king. You know, if he's the king, he should take out those Shockey highlights and put his DePaul Catholic highlights on that reel. That's what we want to see. We want to see the high school highlights on the open.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. We'll put I got some of my recruiting video highlights somewhere.
Hey, with AI, we'll all go to Giant jerseys.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll fit the part, man. We'll just have the high school highlights. There we go.
That's right. You know what? I'm going to say this. There's only one king. That is true. But every king needs his joker. So let's not forget that.
There you go, man. I guess I'm like the court jester or something, right? I'm the jester.
No, you're the enforcer. You're like the executioner. Yeah, sure. You're the executioner. You're the guy that comes out with the thing in the end.
Yep.
You're the muscle. Because
yeah.
Greg likes to talk about your arms. So
yeah, sure. Okay. Well, they're deflated, so they're not what they used to be.
Oh, awesome. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. Well, listen, we thank everybody for here. And Deep has, what did he say? I don't want to say anyone crying about reaches or anything. Give Joe Shane and John Harbaugh, the front office, their flowers. Absolutely. The front office
yeah, this is a
deserves
good
their
one, too.
flowers for this draft,
Yep.
for the
yep,
contracts
good
they
stuff.
put out with Don Apani. Like the change we need. Getting rid of Kevin Abrams was such a good move. Such a good move. You just feel
It's
all there. So.
you know, Kevin Abrams is like that accountant. Like, no, we got to do it this way. This is the way we got to do it. Donna Ponte, she's creative. She's working the numbers. She's taking it from here, doing what she needs to do here, and hey, it's working.
It is. So let's stay tuned. Let's see what they do with the UDFAs. Let's see what they do if any more of those come out, with the free agents come out. Stay tuned. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We love you guys. Thank you again for the Brand Appreciation Draft Show. And Chris, take us on out with the outro.
You got it. Thanks, everybody.